out somehow or another.
Right. Exactly. One step at a time.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, let's talk some of the questions here about Selena, because you know she's a queen around here, or even a goddess. We have spoken
Right.
earlier, but yeah, she is really known over here. So, what was it like? Well, working with her. We'll just start with this simple question.
Well, you said she's a goddess. Well, I mean, I get that. Our time together was very short, but at the same time, I felt like we had a connection that was. We had a connection at the very first meeting, and it's one of those people that you feel like you've known forever, and that's just because of her no pretense. She was so authentic who she is. She knew who she was. She was confident in that, and she carried herself that way. But she cared about people too. She loved people. She loved her fans, and she talked about her fans. And I felt like we hit it off. And so, have it hadn't ended so tragically, there is no doubt in my mind we still be great friends today.
Hmm. Well, I heard that when she was working with you, she was traveling to Nashville and she lost her bags. The airline lost her bags. What did you say about that?
Well, yeah, she got to Nashville and she made it, but her bags didn't. And so she ran out to Walmart and got a new wardrobe for her few days that she was going to be in Nashville. But she also said, she said, "Hey, I'm gonna stop by the grocery store on the way home and pick up some stuff. I want to cook you guys a Mexican feast." And we were like, oh my gosh, So she did, and so she came back, and this is a funny story. Came back to the studio, and I had a studio that had two studios, A studio and B. Winona Judd was working in Studio B at the time. And I was in comping a vocal or doing something on the project on Selena, and Selena was in the kitchen cooking. So Winona came down to the kitchen and said, "Hey, if I buy groceries, would you cook for us as well?" Because she thought she was our chef. And I was like, when I heard this story, we laughed. We had belly laughs about this. But Winona said, "Wait, you're the artist?" And because Selena told her, she said, "I need to see if when Keith's going to need me again." And it was just an embarrassing moment for Winona, but it was all fun because, look, Selena, she didn't care. She was going to cook for Winona. She didn't even know who she was.
Yeah.
So that's just that's a testament to who she was as a person.
Oh yeah. Well, food it goes a long way in culture. We very
Yeah.
open. When people come over, that's the first thing you got to do. Like, I don't know what I have, but we're gonna make something.
Right. And I'll tell you, it was so good. It was great. I
Yeah.
will never forget that.
Well, that's amazing. Very amazing. Let's see. How did Selena? Let's see here. When you wrote "I Could Fall in Love," how did that come across? We kind of spoke about this before, but how did that come? Was that just there, or were you in
Well,
somebody?
I had written this song, "I Could Fall in Love." And you know what? If people ask me, where did that come from? It's one of those things where, I don't even know where these songs come from sometimes. I just sit down and start singing, and I sing a hook. And then at that point, you develop that song from that concept. And that's kind of the way that happened. I remember it took me, I don't write a lot of lyrics by myself, in terms of like a full song by myself, but that one I did. I spent about 3 months writing the lyric on that. And you would think it would come sooner, but I had the music, and that's really primarily what I'm known for, is writing melodies and stuff. But so when she came to town, I had a few songs, and that was one of them that was completed. And she just fell in love with the song, and we put her on that song just to kind of well, no, I take that back. I put my vocal down on the song, the track, so that she could take it and learn it. And I tell this story because it's really funny. This is another belly laugh we had. There's a Spanish speaking part in the middle of the song, and I don't speak Spanish, so I just made it up. Whatever came out was and she got so tickled about that we laughed about that. And so, but I still do that sometimes. I'll make up a fake language and I'll pretend like I'm speaking in another language, and it's like it's just kind of a funny thing.
I'm curious to know what you originally said, what it looked like.
Well, I was a little fearful that maybe I said something I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But no, it was funny. And even then she comes back to Tennessee to do the vocal. And, again, we're in there, and I don't even know it still to this day. I don't have a clue what she's saying in that section, but I said, just do whatever feels natural to you during that section. And so that's what we have.
Wow, very cool. That's a good insight. Did you have anyone else in mind that you wanted to sing that song, or, you know, Selena she got there first and you showed her that one?
I think she's the only one I pitched that song to, because it was kind of fresh when she came in town. There was another song called, I can't remember the title now, but there was another track that she was going to do. Initially I was going to do the whole album. Then it got pared down to 5 because my schedule got crazy. But I had 2 that we were initially going to start with, and of course she came to town to do the first one. And I remember seeing her standing at the back of the studio, and she said, "I'll see you guys in 2 weeks." And it was the following week that she got killed. And it was like, I remember I was working on her record. I was working on the song in the studio at the time. And I walked out into the lobby area of our studio, and the studio manager came up and he said, "Selena's dead." And I had a physical pain in my heart. I mean, I'll never forget that. I had a pain in my heart. And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, she's been killed. And so I turned right around, went back into the control room, turned on the TV, and it was already on the news. And I had to end up leaving the studio for the week. I just couldn't work. It was tragic. Never had that happen to me before. And to think that this precious woman that I had become so close to, I felt like in just a short period of time was gone.
Yeah, when we were all, that was what, 1994, I believe. I was a youngster then, but we were watching it on the news, and it was all live and everything, and it was very tragic for all of us.
Very tragic.
God bless her soul. All right, so Selena is a 1997 American biography musical film. Excuse me. Sorry about that. My phone.
It's okay.
A movie, I believe, and career at Tejano Music, Selena Quintanilla-Perez, when J-Lo, who plays Selena in the movie, sang "I Could Fall in Love." Was that J-Lo or was that Selena's voice? On the
that was Selena.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the story that I haven't told, and I'm not sure why it didn't happen, but when they were making the movie, Tommy Mottola at Sony, who signed me to Sony as a staff producer there, flew me to New York to meet with her. He said, "We're going to blow this song up. We're going to put Selena on this." And you know what? We talked about that, and I came back to Nashville, and it really didn't happen. So I'm not sure what went on there, but as far as I know, that's Selena's voice in the film. I'll have to go back and look at that again, but I don't recall her ever recording that song.
And I see that they're doing a Netflix series on Selena. Did anyone contact you for that?
Yes, I've done a couple of interviews for that as well. I actually interviewed with the girl, the young girl, I can't remember her name. I should know that. That is playing Selena as a young artist.
Yeah. And you think you're going to have to record any vocals for her for the show?
I don't think so. No one's contacted me about that. I did get a funny email. Drew Seeley is an artist, a male artist that I have worked with in the past. I'm guessing 12 years ago, 13 years ago, maybe, or 10 years ago. But he did send me an email a couple of weeks ago, and he said, "You're never going to believe what part I'm reading for on the new Netflix Selena series." And he said, "I'm reading for you." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh," you know. So I mean, I haven't seen if I don't know if he got the part or not, but that was kind of fun to see that he's reading for, and he sent me actually his video that he submitted. He sent that to me for me to watch. It was fun. Cool story.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that to come out. It looks like it's going to be neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that should be cool. Maybe bring a little bit of life back. So you wrote "I Could Fall in Love." We were discussing that, and you were also talking that you play a lot of instruments. Do you play any instruments in that track, in the final recording?
Yeah, I'm playing pretty much. I'm playing all the keys. My programmer at the time, Mark Hammond, he did the drum programming on that song. Tommy Sims played bass, if my memory serves me correctly, and Dan Huff played guitar. but I'm playing all the keyboards on the song.
Was drum programming pretty new back then, or
Yeah, and you know what? And honestly, short of a few fills, it's just a drum loop. It's the loop that I wrote the song to, right? And so I think Mark did some extra fills and that sort of thing, but it's pretty basic. You know, it's not a lot going on in the drum department there.
But I would imagine now that I'm thinking back with the song, that kind of gave it that 90s feel, even though it was like a slow R&B song. When you hear that drum beat, that's kind of what brought it to our generational time. We're like, oh, it has that beat, you know, because it was all about the beat then, you know.
Right. Yeah, that was a popular loop back in the day too. You know, a lot of people use that loop in various forms. But yeah, so it was just pretty much a loop all the way through the song.
Yeah. Well, I want to wrap it up, but it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Before we go, though, one more question. Is there anything you would like to say to our Yaqui youth pursuing the career of becoming a producer? Any inspirational words or advice?
Well, look, I always tell the younger artists and producers and writers that come through here, you got to do the work. You know, I think we're in our culture right now. I feel like there's this thing that everybody feels like they've already arrived, you know, before they actually put in the work. And that's and I do artist development, so I see it firsthand. They come in here and they're expecting to be a star tomorrow. When I was a kid, when I was first learning to play piano or drums or whatever, I used to play 8 hours a day. I mean, I have a vision of my mother coming in and setting a plate of fried chicken on top of the piano and walking out. And no one ever told me to play. No one, my mom and dad never once said, get in there and play piano. I just couldn't get enough. And I go, for the younger artists, for the younger creators, you've got to spend the time perfecting your craft and connecting with it. And so today everything's so fast paced. We're almost living in a preset world. And for you to be able to understand your instrument and to know what potentially you have inside, you have to spend time with yourself, and that time is spent alone. You know, it's like you can't always be on your phone if you want to be a great musician or a great producer or a great singer, because you got to do the work. So, and I would just say, look,